Kyle didn't have much time to process what had just occurred. As the sky darkened with the oncoming evening, he packed his things, leaving the mountain with more questions than answers. The feeling of the space around him bending was still fresh in his mind, but the sense of control over it was gone. There was nothing more to do, for now. By the time he made it back to his apartment in New York, the city was eerily quiet. He noticed the strange absence of the usual noise, the honking cars, the distant chatter of people, the usual hum of the city that never slept. There were no sirens, no rush of traffic. Just silence. As he approached his front door, Kyle felt his phone buzz in his pocket. It was a text from his brother, Alex. "Where are you? You okay? Something's happening out here." Kyle frowned, tapping back a quick response. "I'm on my way home." "What's going on?" The response came almost immediately. "Don't come back. People are turning. Something's wrong. I'll explain later, but I need you to stay out of the city." His heart skipped. Turning, he looked around the street and saw a few people shuffling down the sidewalk, their eyes vacant, their movements slow and erratic. Then, he heard the unmistakable sound of a scream in the distance. He ran to his door, throwing it open, only to find his mother, Andrea, standing there, panic-ridden across her face. "Kyle, you need to leave," she said, grabbing his arm with trembling hands. Before he could respond, the door slammed open, and a figure staggered into the apartment. It was his father, Michael, but there was something off about him. His once well-kept appearance was disheveled, and his eyes were wide with fear. Blood smeared the front of his shirt, and his movements were jerky, unnatural. "Father?" Kyle asked, taking a step forward, his mind reeling. But Michael didn't respond. He lunged at Kyle, eyes glazed over, his lips curled in a grotesque snarl. Kyle's heart pounded in his chest as he instinctively threw his arm out. And in that moment, it happened again. The space around him bent and twisted. Time seemed to slow, and Kyle felt a force surge through him, a protective barrier of some kind forming in front of him. Michael stopped in midair, suspended by an invisible force, before crashing to the ground. The world returned to its normal pace, and Kyle stood frozen, staring at his father, who was now lying motionless on the floor. "Mom," Kyle gasped, turning to Andrea. "What the hell is going on?" Andrea's face was pale, her eyes filled with unspeakable terror. "It's happening everywhere. They're turning into monsters. Zombies, Kyle. And it's spreading fast." He could barely hear her over the ringing in his ears. It wasn't just his father. This whole city, no, the whole world, was coming apart at the seams.